a question there for you because you asked me before, and I don't know if I really answered that when you said, "Are you still keeping in touch with people from
Yes.
school and from my program?" So it's tough. I mean, I'm definitely keeping in touch with my friends, but I'd say keeping in touch with kind of that greater community. And there's still a lot of people that I liked and I'd see most days from my class and stuff, but aren't immediate friends. And I would say that I haven't really been in contact with them much, and that's something that I want to do. And I see a lot of value in keeping those relationships. What would you say to someone like me that wants to do that but hasn't? Like, what recommendations would you tell me?
You you genuinely want to keep up with everyone?
I mean, it's hard. Like,
How
obviously,
many students did you have on your campus?
on the like the whole campus, maybe like 30,000 or
Okay.
something.
So right. So that's a good
But
size.
I mean,
Good
like
home
in
size.
at least in my program, there's like 500, 600, and then obviously there's other people from other programs. But there's like a couple hundred that I definitely was in contact with. But it's pretty hard to
Yeah.
keep contact with a couple hundred people for
So
sure.
your question is, what should you do? What do I think you should do?
What do you think I should do? What if, let's say, someone's listening and they're in a similar boat? What advice would you have for them?
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Check this out. So two things, right? This will be very hard for you to do for your whole school, right? But let's say just your class, if there's about, or your program, if there's about 600 of you guys or whatever, right? Go to LinkedIn, look them all up, add
Hmm.
all of them, and start inviting them one by one to have a conversation with you on your podcast. Because having conversations with you is so genuine, and I feel like we can talk about anything. And honestly, no one is reaching out to them, right? And we consume a lot of podcasts, but the reason why we consume a lot of podcasts is because humans want to communicate. We want to converse. We want to ask questions. We want to pick brains. We want to listen. We want to share. We want to create, right? We want to collaborate. We want to be questioned. We want to question. And
Hmm.
ultimately, a platform like a podcast is something that friends do without the microphone. Like conversations that you and I are having, I have it with my friends without the cameras and everything. It's like we talk about the wildest things, from P. Diddy all the way to like, like national security, right? We talk about anything, and it's just humans want to obviously converse. So I would say you have already something that you should be doing, and you are
Hmm.
doing it, and it's amazing. I love your podcast, by the way. I was able to I checked out one episode. I forgot his name, but I checked out one episode before I got on here, just to
Appreciate it.
be obviously make sure that I was on my toes and stuff, and I understood who the audience was. But um you're already doing it, right? I would just up the marketing and really get in touch with your alma mater and your program mates, even kids that are probably like still in school right now. I would literally build that audience because, like I told you, like one of the biggest mistakes and one of the smartest things I also did. So it's both a big mistake and it's also smart is leaving Portland State as soon as I graduated. So after I
Mm.
graduated, like literally like 3 months after I graduated, I moved to Canada. I moved to Montreal, right?
Okay.
And I was like, I'm out of Oregon, the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to pursue, my happiness. And I remember I was sleeping on my sister's couch in Montreal, and like a few weeks had gone past, and a month has gone past, and Christmas was approaching. And during that week of Christmas, I was like, I have to start doing something now because I'm not Canadian. I can't get a job in Canada. And I had an idea of what I wanted to do already as far as like entrepreneurship and stuff, and I had been doing it. And ultimately I was like, I have to do something that is going to force me to grow, and I have to be somewhere where I feel like I can do anything and make it. And I mean, I don't know if you're religious or not, but I prayed on it for a while, and I kept getting signs to move to New York City in the most random ways. Like I'm walking down the street, I see a truck drive fast, and it's literally a white truck. Nothing is on there except New York, NY, or like a
Mm.
zip code that's New York. And I'm like, what in the world? So I ended up moving to New York City on January 12th of 2016 with only like $600 in my pocket. I knew no one, right? I took a one-way bus, Greyhound ticket to New York, and that was like one of the best decisions I ever made, right? It literally made me. But the reason why I said that that's also one of the worst decisions I made was I left campus too abruptly, too soon, when I was at a place where I was literally building a name for myself on campus
Hmm.
within the community and also within other schools too, because at the time 401 PSU was a thing, but I was working on 401 Oregon State and also 401 U of O. right? And my whole idea was I could travel the country and do this for a bunch of campuses, right? But I moved very abruptly, obviously, which I think was a mistake because I lost touch with a lot of the community back there. Till this day and age, like I still travel back to Portland State, and I feel like I don't know anyone anymore because I was away from it so long, right? I was in New York City and I was trying to become something. And ultimately, the people that I still keep in touch with, a lot of them don't really like work at Portland State no more. They're at other schools and stuff. And I did a poor job of really going back and connecting with the new students and like the new officials, the new provost, the new dean, right? Like the new athletic directors. Terrible job at it. So you're in a much better seat than I am, and you have something that I did not have when I was in your stage, and you have a platform that enables people to actually get to know each other. Honestly, I would even do this as like like on your channel on YouTube, enable other people to also have their own podcasts on it that are part of your same program, right? And literally do it as a group, and ultimately, like it's going to connect all of you guys because you know people that they don't know, but because you know them, the rest of them will get to know them, right? Because ultimately, in your program, somebody's at least one of you guys is going to become successful, right? It's like 600 people in your program, at least one is going to be
Yeah.
successful. Ultimately, that one person needs to know like 20 people, and those 20 people need to be connected with like hundreds of people, right? Because ultimately, when you're able to move as a unit, you become way more successful, and you also share the load. It's like you might have somebody in your program that's also trying to start a business or something, or that is also trying to start a podcast, or maybe they already have a very successful podcast, right? And they're hogging all of the clout, and essentially it's like teaming up together does make things easier. And this is just a sidebar. I'm a big fan of not reinventing the wheel. Find out a way that you can actually support someone else that's doing something very well. I'll give you an example. And Netflix is never going to get back to me about this anyways, but I watch Love is Blind. I don't know if you watch
Yeah.
Love is Blind,
Uh,
but
yeah.
I watch like that's why I got to get off at like 4 or 4:30 or whatever it is, because I got to catch it with my lady and her friends, right? We're having a watch party at home here.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
so I tweet, I wrote a thread, I sent a message to Netflix yesterday, and I was like, hear me out. Imagine for shows like Love is Blind, Too Hot to Handle, or like The Circle, like
Hmm.
TV show, whatever it is
Yeah.
that's on Netflix. Just we need a live comment section while you're actually
Mhm.
watching it. Like you can actually see it while you're actually watching it, right? Like
That'd be
we
really
just need a
sick.
live
Yeah.
comment section. Exactly, right? And I literally listed out the pros and I listed out the cons. And
Hmm.
I was like, you guys definitely should be doing this, right? Somebody like myself would say, I'm going to go and build a streaming platform that actually enables people to actually turn that on, right? An entrepreneur would say that I'm not going to share this idea. I'm going to go and actually build it. And can I build it? Yes, I can actually go do it. But will it be as successful as Netflix? No. So it's like, or maybe it could be, right? But I personally think Netflix already has a lot of success. How can I actually help Netflix be more successful by just implementing this one thing that would better and ameliorate like the experience for everyone, right? So,
Hmm.
and that's why I believe in collaborating. You don't
Yeah.
necessarily need to go and create your own thing from scratch. Sometimes you can just like assist someone and bring your competency to whatever it is that they're doing and still have your fair share of this thing that you guys are building together. So ultimately, to answer your question, what should you be doing? Use your platform to bring more people on here. Use your platform, like build that emailing list, right? If you still have that edu email, utilize it, man. And like
Hmm.
literally save all that and send out like a mail marketer about your podcast. Like, hey, it's Ezra. I'm from so and so program or whatever. We probably met before, maybe, maybe not. However, I do have a podcast and I would love if you actually could check it out, or maybe fill out this form and we can have you on there so I can get to meet you. Boom.